Hello, it's your girl Mariah Sincere, and I'm back with another live. I am a self-love coach who specializes in people radically transforming their lives. I did it myself, y'all. At the beginning of the year, I was miserable, stressed out, and not living the life I thought I wanted. And I created a plan, and in 6 months, I executed it. And I am now living my best life here in Medellin, Colombia. Your girl couldn't be more happier. So, if you are interested in that type of change, or if you need help breaking free from a toxic relationship, or just need some counseling or advice from somebody who has a really good perspective on life, been through the most and got through the other side, go ahead and shoot me an email at thepassportsis@gmail.com. Also, I am a travel agent and broker. So if you are interested in booking travel or getting into the travel business, go ahead and shoot me an email at Thepassportsis. With that said, guys, I apologize for not coming on last Friday morning and yesterday morning. I actually was in the process of moving. So when I came here to Colombia, I had to stay in an apartment I really didn't want to stay in an area that wasn't bad. I don't want to say it was bad. It was just it was so high up in the mountains. Kind of like the Colombians who are upper middle class who don't want to live around people, they live there. And now I'm in this really nice neighborhood that I like called Las Magnolias, and it's so lively. There's so many restaurants and people, and it's just so full of life. So I love it. With that said, the restaurant right across the street from me plays salsa music all the way until like 3 in the morning. So y'all might hear some extra noise in my lives. I apologize. Just count it as background music. That is the cost of leading a boring life in the United States and coming to Colombia. With that said, I told y'all last week that I had an interview with a company in China. So I'm not going to be able to do the morning show anymore at that time because I'm working on Beijing time, which means I will be working at that time. Like I have to start work early in the morning and I'll be working at that time. So I will do a lunch hour. So for those of y'all who want somebody to listen to during your lunch break, maybe you eat alone in your car, or maybe you just want something to listen to while you're working. I got you. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe button as y'all are coming in. Okay. I'm really excited about today's show. Like, we can talk about Diddy, but I wanted to kind of take a break from that topic a little bit today and discuss some other things that I found to be really disturbing, that I feel like there's a lesson in. Because the purpose of this channel, y'all, is really not to gossip. I know I talk about celebrity gossip, but um honestly and truly, the it should always be about the message, because these people are not important to us. I keep up with them so that when we talk about people, we have a point of reference, because a lot of times they go through things that regular people go through. They're not God. They're not bigger than us, right? So they go through regular things. I think we put a little bit more expectation on them because of the personas that they create online. But these are regular people going through regular things at the end of the day, unless you're Diddy putting, like, rugs, y'all know what I mean, in the baby oil. I don't think normal people do that, but but y'all get what I'm trying to say. So I'm never trying to be messy, but we get into the mess so we can learn the lesson. Okay. Okay, and I'm just waiting, y'all. Please hit that like button as y'all come on in here. All right, so the quote of the day that I have for y'all, just to uplift your spirits midday. I know some of y'all been up early, so you need a little energy to keep going, is from Winston Churchill. I really like him. He's one of my favorite characters in history. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And that couldn't be more true. I've had to train my mind to do this because it's so easy to fall into whining and complaining or saying, this is too hard, so I'm not going to even try. But there's always an opportunity for growth. There's always an opportunity for the lesson. There's always an opportunity to make some money if that's what you want to do. There's always an opportunity to build. You know, you cannot grow unless you struggle. You cannot grow without difficulty. I think about it even in terms of childbirth. You know, a woman has to go through pain. Her body has to go through changes for new life to be formed. And that's what we see throughout everything in life and in nature, that difficulty has to occur for something to change, because if it remains in the same state, it does not change. All right, guys. So, as the video type, hey, what's up, skinny boy? Glad to see you here. My boy is in the house. Okay, y'all know he was down there in Florida, and he let me. I was worried last week because he let me know that they had the hurricane coming. I'm glad he was okay. So we glad to see him back in the building. Yes, y'all follow my TikTok, Thepassportsis. On that, I talk about living in Colombia. I talk about travel. I talk about the culture here. I talk about products you can get overseas in Colombia that are really good. All kind of things. So y'all join that. You can also subscribe to my TikTok channel now, and I have a TikTok shop if you want to support me on there. Yes. So all of my websites to book travel with me or to book your own travel through my website, go ahead and check that out in the description box. So let's go ahead and get into it. He says, thank you, Mariah, but unfortunately we have a lot more storms brewing in the Gulf as we speak. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm praying for you. Stay safe. If you can leave, leave. Okay, because I don't believe when they report the people that get injured and lose things, I don't believe that they tell the real number on the news. What do you think, skinny boy? Okay, so I want to talk about R. Kelly. So he's back in the news. Let me fix my mic. He's back in the news. Well, at least on the blogs, because his daughter is coming out alleging that he SA'd her while she was a child. And some people are having a hard time believing this. I don't understand why. We knew he was nasty and he was messing with other people's children. And she's getting some backlash online, and people really get on my nerves, honestly and truly. I think that people, it's either one or two things. There are people who do these kind of things and they want to shut people up about it so as to avoid the attention and the spotlight getting on them. Or you have people who are so in denial that these things happen. Like, people don't want to believe that others are capable of committing these type of acts. So when people speak out about them, they just rather bury their hand in the sand and act like everybody is lying. Now, granted, there are some situations where women do lie about these things. So I have to be, but I think that that's rare. So, for example, when I was 21 years old, I worked at a mental health clinic for kids. And there was a girl who was very, yeah, they not reporting those death statistics correctly. I shouldn't have said that. Well, those unaliving statistics. There was a girl who was very mentally unstable, and she always lied, and she's always lying. Unfortunately, those type of kids make the best victims because they lie so much that nobody's going to believe them. So when it does happen, nobody believes it. So she got mad. We were on, like, they had to leave the unit to go to school. and she got mad at one of the teachers. Mind you, on the units, they're locked down. So only certain people have access to these units. And there was all female staff on these units, and we had protocols. Like, we didn't enter their room unless we were with other staff. I said all that to say there was no way that this man had ever even been given the opportunity to be alone with this girl in private. So she gets mad because the teacher, I believe he gave her a bad grade because she didn't do her work. So she told another little girl, I'm going to make an allegation against Mr. Such and such and say he, you know, use your imagination, did XYZ to me. So the other little girl really liked the teacher. So she came, I was a staff working. She came and reported that to me. So I was able, before the girl made any type of claims, I was able to get ahead of it and go report that she said that. And I'm really thankful that little girl spoke up. If it would have been investigated, then there would be no way to there would be no way that he would have been able to do that. He was never alone with her, you know. But with that said, because I've seen something like that happen in my life, I know that there are instances where women do lie. However, I'm going to say that that is not the majority. I'm going to say that's a small minority. And most of the time, even when a man does do it, it's hard to prove it anyway. So if a man really did not do something like that, more times than not, he's going to get off, especially like in that situation. He would have just had to, he would have went through the public embarrassment of being accused of that. But once they did an investigation, there would be no way that they could pin that on him. It would have been impossible. R. Kelly allegedly was groomed by his mother. It's unfortunate that these parents aren't held accountable like P. Diddy's mother. Yeah. And that's another thing, guys. I saw when you go through something like that, either one or two things is going to happen to you. You're either going to go do it to other people. Um, and I feel like your susceptibility to going and doing it to other people is going to depend on your appetite. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so for example, if you're not a person who is super, you know, freaky deaky anyway, you're less likely to go repeat that kind of behavior. So you're either going to go repeat it, especially if you already, you know, R. Kelly, if that didn't happen to him, he probably would still be a dude that had a whole bunch of females. Or you're going to go the opposite route and go out of your way to be appropriate with people at all times. I saw somebody say, you know, well, abusers become abusers. Not all abusers become abusers. Sorry, not all people who were abused become abusers. Yes, y'all. Thank you. If you're in here, get the likes up. Not all people who were abused become abusers. I believe this kind of depends on the severity of what happened to the person and their disposition. Like, who would they have grown up to be if nobody ever touched them young? How much testosterone do they have? Those kind of things. And again, this is not a, you know, there are women who were out here doing this too. I've had a couple of lives where women have expressed to me that the first time they were essayed by a child was by a grown woman. I've had I've known people in my life who have told me that their aunties did something to them. Is it as much as what I hear women reporting about men doing things to them? No, but it exists. So there are weirdos in both genders. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. The comments really disturb me. Like, sometimes the comment section, I try not to look at it because it don't pass the vibe check. And when I do look at it, I just kind of want to get a general consensus of what is everybody else talking about. Like, where are people's minds at when we discuss these type of issues? Okay, give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, so this is on the Shade Room. No, I'm sorry. This is on Instagram. On Site posted this. So the headline is R. Kelly's daughter, Buka Abi, seemingly accuses him of allegedly doing something inappropriate when she was a child. He was my everything for a long time. I didn't want to believe it happened. So it says in a new upcoming documentary on R. Kelly, his daughter, Buku Abi, is seemingly accusing him of doing something inappropriate to her as a child. In a trailer, she says, he was my everything. For a long time, I didn't even want to believe that it happened. I didn't know that even if he was a bad person, that he would do something to me. I really feel like that 1 millisecond completely just changed my whole, I think she was trying to say life. They didn't finish that. So it, I don't know. They didn't add additional context, but perhaps it was just a one-time thing, is what it sounds like from this. For years, Buku has publicly stated that her ties to her father has hindered her music career and no one wants to work with her simply because of who her father is. That's wrong. I think that's wrong. That doesn't have anything to do with the child. 5 years after the Surviving R. Kelly documentary aired, and 2 years after Kelly's 30-year sentence was handed down, his daughter is now seemingly ready to tell her story. Now, this is Drea Kelly's child. Andrea Kelly. Do y'all know who she is? I'm gonna pull it up. She's a weirdo. Um, and in these type of situations, I believe the mothers need to be held accountable. That's on a case by case basis, though. Um, Now, if y'all don't know Andrea Kelly, she's a dancer. She's a good dancer. She looks really good for her age. She's dating Cisco from Love and Hip Hop. Y'all remember light skinned Puerto Rican Cisco? Well, apparently they've been in a relationship for the past 11 years that nobody knew about, because he had all type of other relationships on TV. But she's so, like, she gives that freaky, deaky older woman kind of vibes. I believe that she was down with a lot of the stuff that R. Kelly was doing. And for a minute before the Surviving R. Kelly documentary came out, and I felt like she wanted to kind of save herself, like she was holding him down. Let's be clear. On the internet, the comment section exposes the sick, twisted minds of people. Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? You never know, like, because people can buy bots and things like that. It's like I'm so disturbed that a part of me hopes that these are bots talking, you know? Hey, Cha Cha, good to see you, girl. I was saying at the beginning of the live, I'm going to be doing a lunch hour now instead of the morning show because I just got a job with a company that is in China. So I have to work on Beijing time. So I will be working during that time. So I have to change it till 12. I will be done working by then. Andrea was nothing but complicit. Yeah, she gives, like, I wouldn't leave my child with Andrea Kelly. She just seems like a freaky person. I don't. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Okay. I see the love. If y'all are coming in just now, go ahead and hit the like button and remember to subscribe. We are talking about the fact that R. Kelly's daughter has come out and seemingly is making a claim that he touched her. Um, so right now we're talking about Andrea Kelly's culpability in it all because again, she has come out and tried to act like she is the most innocent person. And no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I see right through it. And I wonder if the daughter ever reported this to Andrea. Like, and I feel like as a woman, once I see that a man is too nasty, and I don't even mean that I see that he's nasty with children. If I'm talking to a guy and he starts doing stuff like we just start talking, and you start sending me explicit pictures immediately that I did not ask for, and you're quick to do that, and you're too, I already know that you don't have any self-control or self-discipline. Why would I expect you to control yourself around my daughter? and she's only going to get older. No, you can't even control yourself with a grown woman. You can't even control yourself and you just met me. I expect you to be a pervert. I expect you to be a pervert. There was somebody on the internet who I'm not even gonna say their name. Because I don't know. I feel like this person's trying to like troll me or get attention. But he made a video about me, and he was basically, this is when I was talking about these men that want a whole bunch of wives who keep on being stuck on polygamy, like the stuff that Dr. Umar says, like those men are usually nasty people. Um, he made a video, and at the end he was like, well, just because I want all these women don't make me a pervert. Like, stop playing. You have to trust your, as a woman, you have to trust your instincts about people, y'all. Stop letting people convince you that they are not nasty and they are above doing certain acts when you can clearly see that something is not right there, right? Trust your instincts. That's the problem with women these days. Y'all don't trust y'all instincts. And I've done this before, not in this particular area, but I've done this before where, you know, somebody will have something off about them, and I'll say, well, just because they do this doesn't mean that. And then over time, slowly but surely, that's the case. The worst case scenario, 9 times out of 10, is the case. And again, I'm not saying that you're a weirdo if you look at women and find women attractive. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, if you're a man and you notice that women are fine, if you get turned on by women, if you like certain features and qualities on women, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about people who always have doing the nasty on their mind, so much so that you wanted to keep doing it with a whole bunch of people. It's the driving factor in your interactions with people. Yeah, you nasty, and I can't trust you around children. That goes for women too, because I have met some women like that. I had a female coworker who she was always talking about men, always talking about something freaky deaky. I could feel a spirit of lust on her. And she was older than me. She kept trying to invite me to her house for dinner every time. Oh, I got something to do. Because I felt like that lady was gonna try to do something to me. Unfortunately, we don't have good examples of polygamous men in America. Brother Polite and Nature Boy. I mean, I don't know anywhere where there are good examples of polygamous men. And oftentimes, see, I could do a whole video on the history of polygamy, right? Because it's not, polygamy was invented as a tool for women to be able to be taken care of as a result of war, right? It wasn't because men felt like they should have all these wives. So mostly, even in Africa, this was practiced by Muslims. So there was huge parts of Africa where polygamy existed because there were Muslim influence. If you go back in the Quran, that's the reason why there are rules to this. You have to ask your wife if it is okay to bring on another wife. This was originally so when women's husband went to war and they passed away or they were unalive. You would have a man who was wealthy enough to take that woman up under his estate. She would be taken care of. Now, of course, yes, they was probably going and sleeping with these women, but it was more about economics, and these men had to get permissions. Even in Africa, the men had to go to the elders and get that type of relationship approved. And you had to be able to prove that you could provide for those women. So you have these men who don't know the history, don't understand the purpose of it, and that the purpose of it was to benefit the women, not so you could have 3 or 4 wives and y'all be in the same house splitting the bills. No, these women had their own households. So polygamy is supposed to financially benefit all women involved. So when you start talking about doing polygamy that way, then a lot of times these men, they don't want any parts of it because it comes with a huge responsibility. It's not for a man to be able to have multiple women that he can sleep with. That was not the original purpose of it. And now in this modern society, there's really no need for it in the vast majority of cases, because we have rights now. We can take care of ourselves. Men are not going off to war and being unalived at the rate that they used to. So, back then in Africa, people, and even in the Arab world, there were so many wars and tribes warring. We practice Timu polygamy over here. What is that? You have to explain that to me. Oh, Team U. Yes, it's like it's ghetto when polygamy is a rich man's sport. And if you don't have the money, polygamy shouldn't leave your mouth. You have bigger fish to fry. And again, that's not to try to put down men who can't afford to take care of women at all. I'm just saying, if you already know that you're not at a certain economic status, then like let's not even like stop playing with it. Stop playing with it. Because eventually those women are either going to leave you. Another thing that happens, and people don't talk about this, but another thing that happens in a lot of those polygamous relationships that I've seen in real life, the women get together, especially if the man is broke and don't have anything going on. Those women, because the women start messing with each other, they get together. When you gone, they talking about you like a dog. They talking about you, and eventually they both leave. Or you know what I'm saying? I've seen that happen in real life. The women leave, and then the women stop dealing with each other because it was like we was only really fooling with each other because this man wanted us to fool each other. But I've seen so many times where you would have a man and a woman being together. They decided they wanted to bring somebody else into the relationship, and not too long after that, the entire relationship dissolves because the women get together and commiserate about the men. Hey guys, y'all get the likes up. How do I'm sorry. How do you feel about women who have multiple men in a brother husband situation? You mean like women who have like are messing with two brothers? I think it's trifling. What? Okay, because like you got to think about it like this. What if you get pregnant and have kids by both of the brothers? Like that whole family entanglement is just going to be so weird. I don't agree with it. I think also as a woman, you're putting yourself at risk dealing with one man. Okay. Especially if he has a proclivity to step out, then you're trying to satisfy two men and then try to make sure that they faithful, that they're not stepping out with all these other women. I think you, as a woman, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. You have to deal with two men's different personalities, attitudes, needs, wants, and desires. So I'm equal when it comes to that. Right? Don't talk about me. I make average income. Just kidding. Not, hey, the majority of people make average income. I'm not knocking it because at the end of the day, it comes down to priorities. Like there are some people who we want what we want, right? And a lot of people are living a lifestyle that they don't want because social media is pressuring them to. But if as a human being, you feel like you make enough money to be happy and you're good with where you're at, I don't feel like you should go try to make any more money just to satisfy the masses. With that said, you're going to have to date realistically for where you're at. LOL, no. You know the term sister wives, the same thing just for men, not literal brothers. Okay. Yeah, I still wouldn't. I wouldn't play with that as a woman. Because then you got to think about it. Even when you're with one man, our bodies are sensitive. They're delicate. Your boyfriend could throw your pH balance off. Now you got two men, and then you could use protection with both. But then, like, there are certain diseases that don't help, like herpes. So I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I feel like if you are a woman and you're going to do it, please don't be taking care of both of them men. At least let it be some type of beneficial. Okay, so yeah. Here's a picture of Andrea Kelly. For those of y'all who are just coming in, we're talking about the fact that R. Kelly's daughter is seemingly accusing him of touching her in this new documentary. So this is Andrea Kelly, beautiful woman. She looks good. I think she's somewhere in her 50s. Still looks good, in shape, dancing, doing all that. But I feel like she's trifling. I feel like she's freaky. And I feel like she is the type of woman who would allow something like that to happen or turn or suspect it, but turn the other cheek just to keep a man. Now, again, this is all my speculation. All of this is allegedly. I'm not saying like I don't know for sure if she knew or didn't know. Okay, this conversation is outdated since the so-called Smegzual revolution has taken over America. Unfortunately, what you think is unfortunate about it? I'll tell you what I think is unfortunate about the Smegzual revolution. I agree with what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I think that women should be viewed as people who do enjoy smegs, right? That we shouldn't be. I don't agree with the ideology that if a woman has had smegs, then she's less valuable than one that hasn't. What I don't like about the sexual revolution is that it was lost upon women the responsibility that came with that freedom. You understand? I feel like it got to the point where women started feeling like they should do as men do, when just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. And it has had negative effects on society. I will say that. And ladies, y'all can say, oh, well, men need to be held to the same accountability as women in regards to that. I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, we hold the womb. We hold the womb. All life has to pass through us. And to much whom is given, much is required. And I feel like as a woman, even on a biological standpoint, we have much more self-restraint than the average man does. So, we need to use our brains and we need to be better gatekeepers about who does and does not pass into this realm. So, yeah, we absolutely have the responsibility in that regards. I'm going to say that. And I think we haven't been taking it seriously enough, to be honest. All right, so the next thing I want to show y'all guys is this complete weirdo. There was a lady who was working with this man who unalived her. Now, this man gives me Majin Buu vibes. Buu vibes. Have y'all ever watched Dragon Ball Z? And y'all seen, like, okay, on Dragon Ball Z, Goku and gang, they had this nemesis called Boo, and he was like this fat, jiggly thing, pink thing that looked really cute and squishy, but he was lethal. He was dangerous. Okay, so when I show y'all this dude that unalived his coworker, y'all are gonna be like, "What? This person did that? He did what?" Like, he's somebody that you would honestly probably feel bad for and be friends with him just out of pity if you were a woman working with this man. So I'm going to put my headphones on and we are going to get into it. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Okay, again, guys, if y'all are just coming in, like the video. All right, so this is on site as well. It says, man convicted of murdering his coworker after she turned down his advances speaks at his sentencing. So there's a video. I'm going to play it. It says, we recently reported that Michael Carpenter, age 38, was sentenced to life in prison for unaliving his 28-year-old coworker, Nicole Hammond, after she rejected his advances. On October 24th, 2022, he pew-pewed her in the parking lot of their workplace. During sentencing, Carpenter smirked, addressing Hammond's mother, Terry Anderson. Y'all, this is so scary. Hold on. Let me make this bigger because I want y'all to see how this man looks, okay? Because it'd be the people that you least expect. All right, let's go. Can y'all hear? Okay.
Just a little bit, if that's all right.
You may.
I guess one of the things I was kind of thinking about is just, as I'm seeing these slides and hearing what her family had to say, I agree that she was a really amazing person. She was really nice and very caring. She was someone who would listen to you if you had something going on. She was always concerned and caring, and always appreciate that about her. And
okay, so I want y'all to notice he's real chunky, real round. He kind of gets effeminate. I would believe that he liked men, not women. Seems very shy, very timid, very soft spoken. This is not somebody that you would even expect to own a pew pew.
I tried to think of something I would want to say, but there's, like they said, there's no real words that can cover something like that, like losing someone like that.
He even seems like if you talk to him, he would be emotionally intelligent and a good listener. Okay, hold on. Let me see what y'all are talking about. And these are supposed to be our providers and protector SMH. Well, he wasn't giving that. I wasn't getting any of that energy. He looked like he wants to be provided and protected from by another male. I was not getting he likes women's. It's giving I likes men's. It's giving Andrew Caldwell. It's giving I'm delivered. That's what it's giving. I don't disagree with your premise. I have a slight pushback only because when women have a lot of smegs, they lose value because y'all take on too many energies on top of already being emotional. You know what? I don't all the way disagree with what you're saying. We could have a whole conversation about that, but I don't want to get off of this. We will put a pin in that and we'll come back to it on a future day. And they call women the emotional ones. The male ego is so fragile. Man, this was, fragile. And something is clearly wrong with him. No disrespect to women, but men don't go through things like menstrual cycles. Being emotional isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't think being emotional is a bad thing. It's what you do with those emotions. And I mean, statistics show that like men will say they're less emotional, but I could pull it up right now in terms of violence. Men handle their emotions way more violently than women. You're way more likely to get unalived when a man gets severely upset or feels rejected than women. Like women do things like they'll cuss you out or they'll scream or they might call you a whole bunch of times. But the goal is not I gotta unalive you. Now, again, I'm speaking statistically. Yes, there are instances of women who will unalive people when they get upset or get over emotional, but that is not characteristic of what women do. Like that is a very small percentage of women. And when you compare it on a global scale, because it's not even a United States thing. Like if you compare it, I was doing a live with AP on AP for Life. And we had to pull it up. When you compare it on a global scale, it's not even close. The statistics for violence with men versus women, like it's nowhere near close. All right, guys, y'all go ahead and hit the like button. And again, I'm not trying to bash men. It is what it is.
bad. So all I can say is that she was amazing, and I appreciate you guys for making her the kind of person that she was.
Michael Jordan Carpenter, you were found guilty by a jury of committing the offense. The court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for life imprisonment without possibility of release.
A Minnesota man, Michael Jordan Carpenter, has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the death of his coworker, Nicole Hammond.
And she looks so nice and sweet. She looks like the type of girl who maybe other women in the office stayed away from him because they thought he was the weirdo, but she was the one who actually tried to be nice and sweet and kind to him. That's what her vibes give. You know, she gives the type that, oh, I'm going to talk to him, I'm going to listen to him. How do I know this? I used to be that person in the workplace who I would see, okay, this guy is kind of weird, but other people shun them or talk about them or make them feel isolated. So I'm going to not make them feel isolated. And sure enough, eventually it would just get weird. So sometimes trying to be a good Samaritan can backfire if you're dealing with a real weirdo. Somebody said, all that sugar in his tank, and he literally took someone's life because they didn't want to date him. Man, give him the chair. Someone said he's still obsessed with her. This was disturbing to watch. Yeah, he seems like he still sits up and think about her. And honestly, he probably does not care that he's in jail. You got to think about it. A man like that probably didn't have much of a social life anyways outside of jail. Probably went to work and came home. Wasn't getting anything from anybody, be it male or woman. Now he's in jail. 3 hots in a cot, so he doesn't have to work. Okay, he's around a whole bunch of men he can socialize with. And on top of that, it's plenty of men that, you know, get down like that. So it's not like he's going to have to go without getting some pussy. He's probably getting more in jail than what he ever got out of jail. It's a win. You see, he ain't crying. He ain't teared up, nothing. You know, people weaponize the word emotional skinny. Yeah, they do. They do. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with emotions. There's nothing wrong with having feelings. It's what you do with them that matters. It's okay. And then don't let your emotions get in the way of rational thought as well, you know. But we all, men and women, we all have emotions. We just deal with everything differently. Yeah, so he's having a jolly time in jail. I can tell you right now. That's the most meaning he's ever had in life, being in jail. And he probably getting on his knees and doing all that in jail. So that's not a punishment for a psycho like him, who probably didn't even have a social life, who people probably didn't even fool with him like that anyways, because they could tell that he was a weirdo. So it's the win. It's the win for this man. Okay. Let's see what else was said. He didn't even look regretful. He looked like he was fantasizing about her that whole speech. Someone said, may he learn about unwanted advances from men in prison. Are we sure he's not going to want them? It was giving sugar in the tank. Y'all remember that dude who unalived that woman? I talked about it a couple lives ago. He looked real sweet. The woman got on the internet and they had been together for 20 years. She found out he was on the DL. He harassed her for like a couple of years. They went to a court hearing so she could get a restraining order against him. And he unalived her right outside the courthouse. And I was going to say, and I forgot to say that during this video, that when you leave a man, you should not out him. Like, if you have to leave a man and he did something correct, you shouldn't out him, because that makes it more likely that he'll be violent and dangerous. And I'm going to stand by that. But then you have situations like this with the coworker, that even if you try to politely reject a person and just go on about your business and not raise too much smoke, that they're going to unalive you anyway. So this is honestly one of those things where, you know, your time is just your time. But I will say that we need to trust our intuition. That is the main lesson of everything that I'm talking about today. When we're talking about Drea Kelly and her not, even having a child with a man that's a pervert. If you know that a man is a pervert, I don't care if you've only seen him being a pervert with other grown women. If you know that a man is a pervert and that he cannot control himself sexually, and you can tell because they're always making dirty jokes, they talk about sex way too fast. They're running from woman to woman to woman. They have a lustful energy about them. When they met you, they were on the smegs thing way too fast. And again, I'm not saying just like if a dude talks about smegs way too fast with you when y'all first meet, but you're around them, and you notice they show a level of self-control. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you have to kind of take all of this case by case and see how many of these factors apply to that person. But if you can tell a person is a pervert, even if it is just with grown women, don't let them around your children. Don't let them around your children. If you get to know a man and you find out that he's into really nasty things, like things that are abhorrent and seem like abominable, don't let that man around your kids and don't have kids with him. Trust your instinct with that. If 9 times out of 10, with a lot of these men that deal with a lot of rejection and they're incels, even though you want to be nice to them, you want to take pity on them, keep your distance. Keep your distance, because you might be coming with the best intention, but that rejection all of their life has had an effect on them. And there's a reason why people stay away from them or think that they're weirdos. Trust your instincts. Trust your gut feelings. Don't be out here trying to play Captain Save them with people. Don't do it. Great point, Mariah. Protect your children at all costs. Okay, once I see that you too nasty, I don't put children. I wouldn't even trust my dog with you. Once I see that you nasty, if I had a dog, I don't have one, but if I did, it would be a cute little poodle. You think I'm going to leave my poodle alone with you so that you can be violating my poodle and my poodle can't speak up for themselves? No, I'm not doing it. You got me all the way messed up. Rationalizing sexual deviance from others is also a huge red flag. Yeah, don't do it. And this is how you know. This is why I say trust your instincts. Don't let people convince you certain things is okay. You want to know how you can tell something is abnormal and sexually deviant? If when you hear it, it makes you go, ew. When you hear it, it makes you go, what in the hell? See, as soon as you feel that way, when you hear it, don't let people knock you off your square. Don't let people convince you that it's normal. Don't let people talk to you about the safe ways to do it. Because as soon as you told me that, it didn't sit right with my spirit. If it don't sit right with your spirit, when you hear it, it's deviant. It's deviant. Point blank, period. If it sounds too if it's just, or if it makes you want to, if it makes you feel like you're about to have a physical reaction to it, like puking when you hear it, it is deviant. It is not normal. And yes, that is a yum that I'm going to yuck every single time. And I don't care what nobody has to say. All right, guys, we have come to the end of my lunch hour. I will be back on tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. Again, remember, if you need any one-on-one coaching, if you need help with your plans to change your life, I got you. Just hit me up at thepassportsis@gmail.com. Also, I have my links to my email in the description. I have my links to my website if you want to book your own travel. And I also have the link to my TikTok if you want to follow me at thepassportsis@gmail.com. Also, if you sign up through my link via Chime and you do direct deposit, you will get $100 the first time you have a direct deposit. So I love Chime. I personally have it as one of my bank accounts, and any direct deposit I have goes through Chime because it hits like 2 days earlier than a regular bank account. I love that about Chime. Because, baby, Bank of America, they be holding your money hostage. All right, guys. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you to my mods who showed up, Cha Cha and Skinny Boy. It was good to see y'all. And I will see y'all back here tomorrow at the same time. Yes, please hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. And y'all remember to share my videos. I'm trying to grow out here, so help you grow out. Y'all had a great afternoon.